So this is what's happening. All there is what's happening. Sitting on a seat, hearing sounds, breathing, there's just what's happening. Feeling interested, feeling not interested, thoughts arising, there's just what's happening. It's energy in this form, it's energy. All there is energy. Energy is everything, and energy can take this form, and energy can appear as these bodies sitting on seats. Energy can be anything. It is what is happening. All there is energy happening. And it's wild. That energy is wild, chaotic, mad, crazy. There's nothing that directs that energy. It's completely and utterly free to be anything. There's nothing moving it or changing it. Nothing can change it. It's completely its own energy. It's completely free to be what it is. And also, it is a magician. Energy is a magician. It can be anything. It can appear as everything. It can move faster than light and at the same time be absolute emptiness. It's the formless form. It comes out of nothing. It is nothing appearing as apparent energy. It is nothing appearing as a manifestation, as the world, as the universe, as bodies, as motor cars, the sky, trees, marmalade even. So all there is energy. And it is completely free, but also because it's completely free, it can also be limited. It can be imprisoned. It can appear as anything. So it can be contracted. It's boundless and wild, but it can also be contracted. It can be anything. And when that sense of contraction enters the human physiology, enters the human body at a very early age, suddenly what happens in that body is something suddenly arises. A sense of being separate arises. A sense of having an identity. Suddenly in that body, in the human body only, there's a sense of there being a something, an identity. And that sense of being something grows in the body, and that body meets lots of other apparent bodies who seem to be something. So me, the I, the self suddenly arises. Suddenly there's a self, suddenly there's an I, a me. And it meets lots of other selves, me's, I's. And they are all absolutely certain that they are real. The whole structure of individualism, self-identity, is in a dream. It arises in a dream, and in that dream, as far as that self is concerned, it feels that it is absolutely real. I am a real person. I am a real person. And I live in a real world, and I have a real story, the story of my life. I was born, and I will live, and I will die. I'm certain of that, and I'm certain that I am real. The other thing that arises in that dream is the absolute conviction that that individual has free will and choice, and it can influence its story. It's living in a story that it can change around in and make choices over. And the other sense that arises is that if it takes action, then something will result from that. So it really believes in itself, in the story, in its own free will, and in cause and effect. Those things seem real to it. And the journey, I'm on a journey. And the other thing that seems real, because I'm on a journey, the journey is going somewhere, so this existence, my existence, has meaning and purpose, because it's going to go to somewhere. The other thing that arises, however, in that dream, in that hypnotic dream of being a separate individual, is the sense of being separate. is very powerful. And so the individual in that dream reality sees everything else as a separate object. So me, the self, the I, never sees a tree or the sky or another person as they naturally are. The me sees them through a veil of separation. And somehow that is unsatisfying. Really, me lives in a dream reality where everything is a subject and an object. It's a subject-object reality. I'm the subject, she's the object. She's over there, the wall's there, the trees are there, they're out there. I'm here and they're there. That's deeply unsatisfying, but most people don't recognize that. There are people who are sensitive enough to recognize there's something missing, something isn't fulfilling. But most people who live in the dream of me, and most people do, feel in a sense that they can make their lives satisfying. They subtly feel unsatisfied, but they go out and they try to make money or become powerful or have lots of lovers or whatever. They try in one way or another to satisfy a sort of hidden sense of lack. So they try, but more sensitive people feel that that lack is because of something deeper. So they look for an answer in religion or in therapy, or they might have heard of something called enlightenment. And so that sounds like an answer. So they go to a teacher of enlightenment. Because of course the other thing is that they've grown up believing they are individuals, and they've grown up believing that they, through their own choice, can make their lives better or worse. And so they stay within that sense of having to make an effort to find fulfillment. So they go to a teacher who will offer them personal fulfillment, a Christian fulfillment or a therapist fulfillment where you become a more balanced person altogether, or an enlightened fulfillment where you can become enlightened. You can attain enlightenment through following a list of instructions or whatever. But that's very powerful. That's a very powerful message. Christianity, the religious message is incredibly powerful all over the world because it speaks to the me that feels lost. It speaks to the me and says, yes, you feel lost, but I can show you the answer to that. We can show you how not to be lost. It's the most popular message, psychologically, that there is. So what we're sharing together tonight is the exposure of the whole structure of me, the way me takes form, the way it feels that it is real, the dilemma of it feeling that it is real and it has real choice, and the awful futility, the awful and wonderful futility of the effort it makes to find fulfillment. So what we're going to share is the exposure or the illumination that somewhere the me lives in a world that is finite. It lives in a subject-object world. It can only exist in that world. It exists in a finite reality. That's how it is. It exists there by being self-conscious. At a very early age, self-consciousness takes over. I am aware of myself. And it grows, and people live in self-consciousness. And that keeps them locked in to a finite reality. And this sense of what they long for is only arising and is limited by that reality. So the seeker, as we call them, the seeker, is constantly looking from the point of view of being a subject, it is constantly looking for an object called self-fulfillment. And what we're sharing together tonight is the awful possibility that that whole effort is completely and utterly futile because of where the me is, because of the nature of me. So we can share this verbally, we can share concepts together, And ask anything at all about what you feel about yourself or what you feel about this manifestation, and constantly the response to that will be to point to the illusionary dream of there being a me, and the illusion that the me can take any steps to find fulfillment. So we can speak together in that way, but more than anything else, the most liberating thing that can go on is unspoken. What we're really here is to share together is about something that can't be put into words, that can't be understood and can't be grasped. What we're talking about here is a paradox. It can never be attained. And it doesn't need to be attained, because what will also possibly emerge is that what the seeker longs for has never gone away. What the seeker longs for has never been lost. The seeker looks for some abstract thing out there, but actually lives in what it longs for. So this is, in a sense, an exposure of an illusory dream, and in another way it points to something that is utterly simple and ordinary.